Let's go now and bring in our images. So we've already customized the slide master, set up those initial design for the background elements. Let's go now and bring in all of our images. Now, for this, I want to bring in images from Windows Explorer, and that just makes it a little bit easier. I can drag all these over at one shot. But if you see right here, right, we have the image version and the text version. I'm just going to drag these over. I saved everything out as a text object only because I did some special treatment to it and just had some fun with it. So that's why this is a text object. It could easily be created within QuizMaker. So let me zoom out here, and all I want to do is just kind of get these objects just aligned here. So I'm bringing them all in, seeing what I have. Okay, some text over here. Those are the headlights for the car. Actually made those lights separately. All right, so we have everything there. I'm going to go ahead and just open my timeline for a second, and I want to turn off this title text box. I'm going to do something with that later, but at this point I don't need either of those on my slide. Okay, I'm going to ahead select all, and I'm just going to arrange those and just move them into the center of my slide. All right. So then now what I want to do is actually arrange these on the timeline. And that's why I named each of those images the way I did. So the image and the text, the image and the text. But what I also like to do, it's out of habit, but it's also makes my development a lot easier, is I want to rename the layers over here. So I'm just going to name each of these real quick. And there they all are named. I'm going to drag up alligator so that it's together. And I want the text object above each of the images, which it looks like it is there. So at this point, I can go ahead and animate all of these. Now, the reason I like to bring them in together, and it's just more of just a workflow, is I could easily bring in 2 at a time, animate them, fade them, do what I need to do, and then bring in 2 more and continue along. But because my animation effects are going to be pretty much the same, right? For all the images, they're just going to fade in and out. I can do that all in one shot, and this makes it a little bit easier. Now the text is going to fly in. I think all of them fly in from the left, and I'll have one fly in from the right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lock the layers for each of my text objects. So I can't select them. And I did already lock the text box down here for the title. Now if I do a Control A, even though all of this shows up that it's selected, I'm really only selecting 4 objects, and those are my images. So under animation, I want to do fade in, medium, fade out, medium. So I can apply that animation all in one shot. Makes it a little bit easier. So now I'm going to go ahead and unlock the text. I'm going to lock the images. So image, and let's go ahead and do a Control A again. For animation, something got selected twice here. There we go. I had 2 images there. Control A. I want to go ahead and have it fly in, and I'm going to say from the left, and I can make that one change to the text later. Keep it at medium, and then I'm just going to fade those out, so medium fade is okay. So that kind of makes my workflow a little bit easier. I can do this all in 2 shots rather than having to do it individually. So at this point, we move this timeline out a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and just create those animations for each of these. So I can go ahead, because I've already set these up, I'm going to actually do a shift click on each of these and choose until end. I want to disable that. I don't need this to go to the end. So now I can go in and bring in each of these animations. So I'm going to do this for the alligator. I'm going to have the alligator come in for about 2.5 seconds. Same thing with the text. But now I want to bring these over and have them come in right after that. And I could bring these in the end after 2 seconds. Same thing with the next 2. And this is really easy. I don't even have to look at the stage to know what I'm doing, because everything's going to fade in based on the same timeline. So the same thing with the gang and the headlights. Bring those in afterwards. I can move this over. That's probably fine. I'll deal with this later with the title. So now I have the animation for each of these that's going to fade in, right? So they're going to fade in, fade out, fade in, fade out, and so on. So in the next example, we're going to go ahead and customize the timing of this. We'll move these over a little bit, and then we'll actually start adding our questions and the actual quiz parts.